Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join us in the wild landscape of Scotland, and for today's adventure we're basically continuing on our exploration of a World War II Royal Navy training airfield. So like always on these adventures folks, we come with the greatest respects to like the landowner and these old World War II building owners. We are simply interested in documenting the history which is left behind from World War II, almost gone and almost forgotten from this land here. And in the last video we could see certain bits of what was the Royal Navy training airfield of Easthaven on the east of Scotland, and today we're basically here to look at some other little abandoned buildings related to that site. And we're just basically in this mad kind of wild bit of land. The North Sea is literally like a couple of fields width over there, and the main hub of the old World War II airfield is just probably a couple of miles up that direction. But yeah, this looks just super overgrown. Obviously summertime conditions, it's difficult for seeing all the history at times. It's all covered up from the wild overgrown conditions. And like a lot of things from World War II as well folks, they go missing because they get destroyed, often by nature and by the weather. The places degrade to such a level that they just start falling down. Other times buildings get removed and changed as pieces of land get developed. And that's the reason with these videos, we try and document what's left just before it is all fully demolished and gone. So check this out folks, this time of year the grass is like head height, but here's the World War II history over here. So I'm just pushing through once again to get the coolest content for the channel here. Check this out folks, we've made it across that wild bit of grass, and look, it's similar to one of the buildings that we saw in the last adventure. And then look, that's a strange big stone, well, cement circle there. So I'm not sure if this would have been maybe like the sewage works or waterworks side of the airfield back in the war, or this could be something after the war that was maybe constructed. But this here is definitely part of the World War II Navy airfield, because we've seen similar constructions further up the site. Yeah, the channel DJ is saying fuel storage, but I'm not sure. Often they would have big metal tanks for that, sometimes below the ground, sometimes above. But yeah, there you go, sometimes these had big metal rungs on the side. Oh, here they are, look. That would have been how they came up, climbed in here safely. Wow folks, what a crazy scene once again on the channel. Hardly seen and hardly documented. World War II history almost gone and forgotten. And like I say, we're normally recording the RAF airfield, so a Navy airfield is such a cool thing to see. So the DJ's cracked out Google Maps for this one folks, and on Google Maps it's easier to actually see what's in the land, because at this time of year it's so overgrown. But on the map it actually looks like this here is actually some sort of construction. See this ridge in the ground here? Wow, this time of year you can just hardly see it, but this ridge is actually something. See, there's another unusual mound up there. Wow folks, the Scottish thistle, that's what I'm battling through right here. So with an area like this folks, it's really hard to explore. You can see the height of these Scottish thistles here, the flower of Scotland, standing almost head height at this time of year. Wow, this is getting even more overgrown at this bit of the path. We're just about at the end though, we need to push through. The realest of adventures folks on the channel here. We do this so that the viewers don't have to. You can be in the comfort of your house watching us trying to push through these jungle-like territories. Loads of wee flies and beasts on me. I was just making sure it wasn't a tick that was crawling up my coat. But I think we're too close to the coast for that. So from years of exploring World War II sites and documenting buildings, this has got all the looks of an electrical substation, but it might not be one, because normally they've got glass around the top in the cement to deter people from climbing in and sabotaging the military technology. So I'm hoping to go in here and see basically like what is left. Here, do you think if we go round there might be an easier way? I think it's a big circle, but I think the grass is maybe shorter around there, but I could be wrong. We should maybe just, well, let's go full send. Yeah, it smells like barbecue here. It'd be brilliant if we discover somebody's having a barbecue around this corner. Wow folks, I've got my trousers tucked into my socks, but I'm proper clotty and soaking wet from these last two adventures. We've just been going full send into this Scottish countryside. And I've never seen anybody document this Royal Navy airfield before, so it is interesting. Nowadays it just looks like some big grassy overgrown terrain and loads of fields, but at one time it was a hustling bustling hub of World War II activity. And yeah, this building, we're just trying to come round, so we're walking the shortest distance through that overgrown terrain. Obviously as the years pass, bits of land like this is getting used by the farmer and the history is slowly getting deleted. So look at this folks, we've made it in to this little complex and just look how overgrown it is at this time of year. Wow, I was hoping to see some remains on the floor or on the ground. This is crazy, man. Look how overgrown it is. I can't even crush these down with my foot. It's so extreme. It's an overgrown madness folks, but once again a piece of World War II history documented. Today's adventure's been one of these. We weren't sure what to expect, and obviously now we've gone here, we're seeing how extremely overgrown it is. It's just a madness to fight through this terrain and video these little clips. Maybe this is one we need to come back to in the winter to get a better look. Once all this greenery and shrubbery and stuff dies back, it makes it far easier for an adventure. And today we're dodging heavy rainstorms. There's proper thundery summertime conditions out here, and right now I can feel the rain coming on heavy again. I think this is the old stuff out of all those polytunnels. This is all the old earth bags. There's another square thing over here. Somewhere within this overgrown terrain, folks. The history just lies. Wow, all that's just like head height. Look at that green bush, it almost looks like chickweed. It's just overgrown in this site. It almost just looks too extreme. Right folks, we're going to go a wee bit further down this main track. That seems to be all the history we're able to get to. Maybe in the winter we'll come back and try and see that. There's another wee square building up there, but I think it's another one of these drainage square sites. I'm not even sure exactly what they were, but we're documenting it anyway folks. We need to head back up here to the main road. This is where we looked over a minute ago when we first arrived at this site. Look at that folks, tasty Scottish strawberries. You can hear the noise of the rain hitting the top of these polytunnels. It's another one of these summer storms. They're normally off and on just all day, so we've just been going out doing adventures regardless of the conditions, and it's so much fun often just heading into these places we've never been, telling a story of history that we've never seen. And a Royal Navy airfield is a super rare historical place to explore, and I just love to imagine it when it was in its prime. All these little buildings and little ruins that we see were all part of a big structure which was built to win us the war, which was successful in the end. All these places were key parts for training the soldiers and even the Navy sailors or pilots going out onto the front line of combat all over the world. And just like nowadays, there's just hardly any of that left. And even though I live quite local to this area, I never had known that story of the Navy history in this area. And that's why I thought it's extra special to share it. Yeah, it's another place, folks, that we've been that we had never seen. So check this out, folks. We're just following this little lane and it takes you down to this massive, I think it's a waterworks. I think they're basically treating sewage and then turning it back to fresh water down here. But it's a massive site. And then that field behind us, we're basically at the other side of the polytunnels to where we were a minute ago. And you can see there's a big row of caravans, most likely for the workers which are obviously there to maintain and keep a look at the strawberries, look after the strawberries I should say. But the reason we've walked further down this road is because it looks like there could be a couple of interesting remains of potential World War II history related to this naval training airfield that we're basically exploring today. So yeah, the mission's still on. Even though we couldn't see hardly anything for that overgrown conditions, we're hoping down here there's some remains of something just to have a look at. And it's cool because at the start of this week we were at an abandoned ROC bunker in hilltop location at Arbroath, and from here we can literally see that piece of land. We were just saying, like, slowly, mission by mission, we are just covering the whole map, exploring all corners of Scotland to find the coolest things and document it here on the channel.
Try not to be.
So it looks like there was a couple of bits on the map we could see on Google Earth. It looked like there was a couple of remains here for World War II, but it looks like now it's potentially all gone. But I'm just theorising this old road or track may have been put in back at that time. We're now right down at the water treatment works. Channel DJ is suffering the effects here of the smell, because you can just smell the water which they're treating. It looks like it's called Hatton Waste Water Treatment Works, and we're just going to nip along this mud track here and look over the coast to see if there's any other historical wonders. Look, there's cement underfoot here. It's almost like this road back in the day was wartime. It's absolutely stinking here, folks.
I can.
Absolutely stinking. Channel DJ can't handle it. So the DJ cannot handle the smell of the sewage here, folks. But I'm heading down this track just to look over this gate because I'm curious to see if there's any World War II historical wonders. The smell here, believe me, is absolutely pungent. It's so bad. It's so bad, folks. I'm literally braving this out just to get the footage. Channel DJ's waiting on me at the road end, which is sound as anything. Sound on him. It literally smells like diarrhea here, folks. So now I've come a little bit further along here. There's actually no smell at all. It must be the way the wind's blowing. The smell was so bad back then, but I can actually see the remains of some abandoned history over here, and I'm wanting to just go and document it. Wow, this is crazy right here, folks. Check this out, folks. I've made it over to this crazy bit of history which is almost gone and forgotten in the land. I'm so glad I made the point of coming along there just because this was here. It's made it worth it. And this is such an interesting little building. Look at this. There's been a lot more here, I think, which is now gone. Look at the wee corner room. What has it been, folks? Has it even been like little sheds or anything else related to this? We're on the edge of this Navy wartime airfield, so little buildings like this must just be here as a scar or skeleton of the history. Not unless it's been some other industrial site on this piece of land. But when I saw it, I just thought it's so cool to come and document it. And then over here I can see a massive row of tank traps. Yeah, there's actually people in the field here I can see, folks. There's a couple of folk down in the field. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're sure we're acting suspicious. But then they'll be thinking the same thing about me. It would be cool to go and have a look a wee bit further, but always come with the greatest respects, like the landowner and the farmer. And this is basically what I came to document. What has it been, folks? These little bits, that's how it could have been for communications or whatever at the airfield. Sometimes they would have different buildings for different systems they were using back in the war. Look, there's been something mounted on the wall here. Maybe at one time holding the door frame or the window frame in. Anyway, I'm being super quick here because I didn't want to keep the channel DJ waiting. It's like there's almost been an old track or road leading over the land at this point. Wow, what a cool little site that is. I wonder if there's been more history deleted as the waterworks has been improved and made larger. And I'm curious to see if there's literally anything just over that ridge. But yeah, I'm heading back, folks. The channel DJ is waiting for me up there. Literally in this area, you can't even smell the sewage treatment works, and you would have no idea it was even there. Yes, folks, we've made it. So the character of those buildings is very similar in the World War II time period, often using those red bricks, at one time covered with like a cement render, which nowadays is flaked off and broken off. Most likely a building like that would have been used after the war as probably a bit of a shelter for any animals and that was in the field. But because of the extreme coastal conditions and strong winds that you get in these areas, I think that's obviously how these places degrade and fall down a lot faster. Wow, even this fence around the water treatment works, I can see it's super rusty from the coastal air. So as far as this strong smell goes, folks, I'm walking back into the red zone. It's absolutely pungent in this one area. Basically, if you can bear that smell for this short distance, it's absolutely fresh once you go across there. And I believe there may be more history over within that neck of the woods, maybe down that way. There is a rail line goes across, so you're limited. Like to get over to those tank taps at the coast, we would have to literally go to the next crossing point on the railway. But yeah, this smell, folks, is absolutely pungent, taking my breath from me. So at one time this road is most likely one of these interior roads to do with the Navy airfield, leading out to those buildings on that outcrop of land. Maybe communications, if they were communicating with ships and stuff, being a Navy airfield, they were maybe in communication with like boats and stuff out in the North Sea. Here's Channel DJ, folks, he's been waiting patiently on us. See, if I had my phone, I would have been phoning you and telling you to come over. Once you go halfway down there, you don't even smell it. There's proper building remains over there and stuff. Two different halves, equal, like symmetrical. But it looks like there's more stuff just like over the brow of that hill there. See the thing, there was two folk down in the field doing something suspicious. They were down in the hollow. Like literally they would not be expecting somebody to be coming for the direction I was going. So I'm not sure if they were having an intimate time down there potentially, but yeah, they were down right next to the rail line. So I'm always in my element, folks, when I find history and document it like that, and whenever I'm seeing things that I've never seen, it's just so cool. The DJ looked on his Google Earth and it doesn't look like there is any more history down that way or further up the other way. But an interesting thing, it looks like there is some ancient, well, wartime history within that water treatment works. But it's most likely just more of like building remains, probably like knocked down. It's maybe just like the footprint of a building, like we see most commonly. But it is cool to document the wee bits of the building that's left and tell the story of this place, because it's such a rare thing, kind of Navy airfield. And I've already said it in this video, but yeah, it's just amazing. When I seen that remains, I thought I need to go over and just record it, because it is something. When I could see it from this distance, I wasn't sure if it was just two tatty boxes or whatever, but as I got closer, I thought I need to go over and just record it since we've come this far. And it is just amazing. There could have been other little internal roads to do with the airfield, all the way from here to Easthaven basically. It was a big place, a big site. Another interesting thing with this airfield, folks, they actually had on the runway set up as if it was an aircraft carrier, so they could practice landing on it. And they even had the big arrestor cables and stuff that slow the plane down rapidly. And that gave the pilots good training. Before they had to land on the ship itself, they would come and land on the airfield and practice obviously lining it up with that narrow small space and hooking the tail onto that arrestor cable. That was back at the days, a lot of that stuff was just first developed and designed. And yeah, it's special to think about that as well as we explore. Some of the latest technologies of warfare were literally developed and trained with in these sorts of places. And even to this day, modern military aircraft carriers still use similar systems with those arrestor cables when they land. Right folks, that's us just about back to the car. It's been a fun wee adventure here, just exploring those few wee nuggets that's left from the wartime period. And then also just remembering this place and what was done in the war for the Royal Navy and the training that went on. And it's always a fun adventure to go down the roads and just see what's there, looking in places you've never been. And Yeah, it's special, folks. Anyway, I'm ending this video here. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye from me. Goodbye from Scotland's #1 DJ. And we'll catch you very soon for the next one, wherever we end up going.